Come, Talion. See through my eyes, see through my eyes.
In 2009, Warner Bros. Proved with the help of Rocksteady that a licensed property could make for a good, if not superb, game in Batman Arkham Asylum. That series went on to spawn 2 sequels, 1 prequel, and a spin-off game. In 2014, Monolith helped Warner Bros. To show the gaming world that Arkham wasn't a fluke, and we received a Game of the Year candidate in Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. It's 2017, and we have yet another reason to celebrate not just one of the greatest fantasy epics of all time, but another shining installment of what is sure to be in the conversation come year's end. Middle-earth: Shadow of War picks up right where Shadow of Mordor leaves off. You control Talion, the Aragorn-esque former ranger who has gone through hell and back. Talion is intertwined with the elven spirit, Celebrimbor. Together you form a nearly unstoppable duo, destined to fight legions of orcs, Uruks, the Nazgul, and even Sauron, the Dark Lord himself. And though what we experience here isn't technically canon, it makes for a story that features some high points before ultimately falling short of the true Lord of the Rings epicness. The story's quality and execution is more in line with the Hobbit trilogy, rather than the early 2000s Rings trilogy. From time to time, you'll run into iconic Middle-earth creatures, from the aforementioned baddies, to a brief cameo from Gollum, to an epic side story with the Balrog. Even Shelob is involved, though not like you might expect. Just like in Shadow of Mordor, the story is average at best, and that's okay, because the true story is crafted by you, the player, through your numerous encounters with hundreds, if not thousands of enemies. The game features 5 true main quest lines, and the order in which you beat those levels is, for the most part, up to you. Just before the endgame, the game will give you a warning to go and complete what you might have missed. I truly enjoyed the Gondorian and Minas Ithil characters and story the best, and wish it would have gone on a bit longer. The game's final 2 chapters are absolutely epic, and even provide a bit of a twist. This twist clearly sets up the series for what I believe would be a third and final game, not unlike its comic book cousin in the Batman Arkham series. There's a bit of a window here before the Fellowship of the Ring, so have at it, Monolith. Your journey is far more exciting, addicting, and entertaining when you take into account just how awesome the revolutionary Nemesis system is. I can't wait to see this dynamic used in more games moving forward, and I could see the developers getting really creative with it. In a nutshell, the Nemesis system gives identities to otherwise nameless, clone-like NPCs.
Hoorah.
Each enemy leader, captain, etc. has specific strengths and weaknesses that help to encompass this unique identity. Just like its predecessor, the system gives Shadow of War layer upon layer of depth. Take advantage of an Uruk's particular fear of fire by igniting a vat of highly flammable grog nearby. Release a hound of Caragors to battle an enemy that can be weakened very quickly by a Caragor bite. If you fail to eliminate or dominate an enemy in a scenario like this, you'll find that enemy promoted within the ranks of the Mordor army and even leveled up, thus making them harder to defeat next bout.
I'm embarrassed, to be honest. All the times we've clashed and nothing to show for it. Suppose I'll have to make up for it now.
The banter from your enemies is quite comical, regardless if you have already fought them or not. Monolith has successfully done something that I never would have imagined probable, or even possible. They've given personality to the bland and otherwise dreadful orcs. From time to time, I found myself wanting to skip a bit of extended pre-battle speech. Most of the time, I found humor and entertainment in what I was hearing. One enemy even went as far as to taunt me, implying that they were a necrophiliac. Okay, gross. There's so much to see and do in the 5 regions of the game. When I had completed my main quests, I was only approximately 50% of the way through the checklist. Though the enemy types and settings tend to blend after a while, each backdrop had enough of a unique feel to make the world seem large. Shadow of War adds new fortress takeover missions to the mix. There are 4 fortresses throughout the land, and it's up to you to build an army, add perks to that army, and launch an assault on the castle. Different strategies came into my pre-battle preparation, but I found that the way I went about bringing down an overlord didn't matter so much as how. The higher the rank of the captains I had on my side, along with purchase perks such as more mobile archers, the better my chance of success. Combat is largely unchanged from the first game. The occasional stumble or invisible barrier was frustrating, but the game makes up for it in so many ways. The map features fast travel points, but Talion is able to move so fast that it was actually more fun to cross the land at times. Upgrading and leveling up is something that Monolith has nailed, providing for an intricate and deep, yet easy to understand system. There are loads of options when it comes to which perks you want to employ with Talion, mostly with regards to how he fights in combat. There's no shortage of options, but it doesn't feel like overkill, which many RPGs run into these days. Choice for the sake of choice is never good, but that's not the case here. You can also upgrade your health, weapons, and armor through various dropped loot items. You can acquire these by killing certain epic and legendary warriors, which adds a nice incentive to going after specific targets. Furthermore, you can upgrade your upgrades by completing certain challenges. Whether it's the menu screens, the level up screens, or moving between points on the battlefield, Shadow of War is seamless to navigate. Not only is the lore enhanced by the loads of backstory elements and artifacts, but it is enriched by the beautiful musical score of Gary Scheinman, who also composed the first game. Shadow of War is exactly the game I hoped it would be when I heard of its existence earlier this year. Through its wonderful continued use of the Nemesis system, along with its masterful gameplay that mixes the best of Arkham and Assassin's Creed, this game is my frontrunner for Game of the Year, and I have a strong feeling that mine won't be the only list it occupies. For everything on Shadow of War, you are already in the right place, thegeekiverse.com.
Deadly smart, which, I guess he'd have to be given the two heads. You take him down, you'll send a message to Sauron, and get yourself some nice new digs as part of the bargain.
I'm not going to do this alone. Gather your troops.
Will do. Oh, just make sure you let me pop his heads off, won't you?